Hello, today I will show you some structures for pie chart. And please note that in this lesson, I will use structure that was delivered in the previous lesson. So if you haven't checked it out, please take a look. Now let's go. This is a pie chart. And before we learn, we need to know some terms. This part is called a segment. So this pie chart has 4 segments. And the symbol here is called a percent. So when we want to talk about this number, we would say 50%, not 50%, because percentage is a noun. So when do we use percentage? Percentage will use when we talk about the segment here, like the percentage of children's books are 50%. Next, structure to talk about the segment. We can use the structure here with this verb. And we have the sentence that I used in the last slide. The percentage of children's books are 50% of total books. You can see that I just fill in the noun to the structure. But this sentence would sound so much better if I use the 4 verb here, accounted for 50%. Now let's try by yourself to talk about the remaining 3 segments. Okay, now let's go. I wish it is that simple, right? But it is not, so we need to learn more. This is a typical pie chart. They will be comparing 2 pie charts from this year to another one. In this case, we talk about pie chart in the past. So remember to put your verb in past tense. Now let's talk about the blue segment here. This is children. And we talk about types of books. So children's book, we can see that it went down from 50% in 2011 to 35% in 2012. Now I will use structure of today and the previous lesson to describe this. The percentage of children's books were 50% in 2011. Were because it's in the past. The percentage of children's books decreased significantly from 50% in 2011 to 35% in 2012. This is the structure we learned in the last lesson. Now let's practice and talk about the orange segment, picture book. As you can see, it go down too. So you can say something like this. Instead of use were, I use accounted for. And I use the noun structure instead of the verb structure here. There was a slight drop in the percentage of picture books from 25% to 15%. So it's pretty similar. So now we finished talking about these 2 segments, but you can see that the sentences here doesn't sound very good because I have repeated some elements of it. Now, how can I make it better? I will combine these 2 sentences. I will keep the first sentence, and for the second sentence, I will keep only the part that's different. For example, in 2011, the percentage of children's books were 50%, so I keep the same. Then the proportion means the percentage. Synonym. Decreased significantly to 35% in 2012. So I remove the similar part of children book from 50% in 2011. I remove the similar part and I have a complex structure, a complex sentence. Now it sounds so much better. Let's do something similar with the second example here. So I did the same thing. I keep the first sentence, and for the second sentence, I just keep the part that's different. And the figure means the percentage, the proportion. Okay, now let's use some time to practice with the rest, the remaining fiction and IELTS book. After you finish, you should have something similar to this. And this is not the finished writing because for task 1 structure, we need 2 parts. Part 1, introduction, and part 2, body. So for introduction, we need to paraphrase the question and give overview of the chart. Paraphrase means rewrite the question with the same meaning. Do not copy. And for overview, lucky for us, we have structure too. Pie chart, when we talk about overview, we will talk about the biggest segment and the smallest segments of each year. And the structure I gave you here, you just need to fill in the noun, the subject. So this is an example for this question. You can see that I just fill in the structure I got from here with the noun. Children's book were the largest segment. Was the largest segment. IELTS book made the lowest contribution here. Picture books was the least significant part here. You can choose any sentences. I just prefer these two. And that is how we got the full report. This report is 157 words. And IELTS Task 1 requires to write at least 150, so this is good. And my example here would score around 6.0. If you want higher score, of course, you need to practice more. But this is only the second lesson. If you can do something like this, it is excellent. Okay, so now I will stop my lesson here, and I hope that you practice a lot and get your desired score.